Welcome to No Cover Comics.
In a cornfield in Smallville, we find Oliver Queen and his wife Chloe. In need of illumination, Green Arrow fires an arrow flare to light up the sky. Chloe remarks that this arrow is more practical than the boxing glove prototype, though he can spend their money however he wants. Oliver expresses concern that, given they are tracking a potential alien spaceship, it would have been wise to have backup, such as Superman. However, Superman is currently occupied with the space shuttle rescue. Their past encounters with aliens have not been favorable, aside from their interactions with Clark and John Jones, and Oliver is apprehensive about the possibility of encountering another unpredictable Kryptonian. Upon discovering the ship, Chloe mentions that she believes that will not be a concern, since the ship is not extraterrestrial. It is, in fact, from Queen Industries. Oliver responds that this is not a project his company has developed, as they are focused on assisting John with the construction of the Watchtower outpost on the moon. They then notice some footprints and decide to follow them away from the ship. At Star Labs, Dr. Emil Hamilton is in the process of adjusting a hazardous environment drone when he receives a visit from Lois Lane, who inquires about Commander Henshaw. Hank's injuries are severe, resulting in significant loss of motor function, but he is not in a coma. His cognitive abilities remain intact. However, he is unable to speak or move, leaving him trapped within himself. Lois speaks with Hank's wife Terry, not to conduct an interview, but to inform her that Clark had a conversation with Hank prior to the liftoff and requested Lois check on the situation. Mrs. Henshaw is understandably distraught about her husband's condition. She simply wishes to hold his hand, though for the time being, just seeing him will have to suffice. Terry expresses her confusion and anger over Superman not saving her husband. Lois responds by highlighting the recordings of what happened and Hank's courageous decision to remain behind to ensure the safe transport of the radiation leak into orbit, allowing Superman the time to rescue the rest of the crew. This explanation does not provide Terry with the comfort she seeks, and all Lois can offer is her sincere apology. While Terry wants an act of God. At LexCorp, Lex enters his office and pours himself a drink when he hears Superman knocking at his window. Upon asking Lex for a moment of his time, Superman makes a dramatic entrance through the glass. Maintaining his composure, Luthor introduces himself as Lex and extends his hand for a shake. Superman, however, leaves him hanging and accuses Lex of activating the Guardian platform mid-flight. Luthor refutes this allegation and shifts responsibility onto the military. This response infuriates Superman, but Lex warns that attacking him would be unwise. When Superman asks for a reason not to, Lex gives 3. Looking out the window, they see 3 military helicopters, instructing Superman to step back from Lex. In his frustration, Superman had failed to notice their presence. When Superman questions the situation, Lex replies appearances, noting that Superman's involvement in the recent Russian platform explosion, the LexCorp shuttle fire, and the current assault on LexCorp has justifiably raised concerns within the military. As the military commands Superman to surrender for questioning, and he refuses, they aim their weapons at him. Lex comments, "I think this is the part where you run." Metropolis 4 a.m. Lois is on the phone attempting to reach her father. Upon finally connecting, she expresses her displeasure with him. General Lane informs Lois that they simply wish to ask Superman a few questions. Lois argues, "You shot at him first. Why would he want to speak with you?" Sam asserts that Superman intended to use his laser vision, to which Lois responds that they both know he would never use his heat vision against them. The general advises her that he is following orders and instructs her to stay out of the matter before disconnecting the call. As Lois contemplates Clark's whereabouts, he zooms by overhead being pursued by a missile. Lois calls Clark and inquires what he is doing. He responds, "Oh, you know, cats in trees," then asks her to hold on for a moment. Superman intercepts the missile and crushes it, then tells Lois, "Also, your dad is a psychopath." Continuing with, "Doesn't he know I used to be the Blur?" That Clark was the Blur turned Superman? He once acted like he knew. Lois tells him, "If he knew I was engaged to Superman, I'm 50% sure he wouldn't be shooting at you." Clark is reassured, as he is surrounded by helicopters in the sky over Metropolis. Superman informs General Lane that further property damage is unnecessary, and offers to repair the existing destruction if they agree to cease fire and talk. However, the orders from higher command are to assess Superman's capabilities, so after confirming that the area is secure, Sam instructs his men to open fire. Hearing the order, Superman tells Lois to move as far away as possible. As the chain gun discharges, bullets bounce off Superman in all directions, narrowly missing Lois as she seeks cover. A ricochet soon strikes a helicopter, bringing it down towards the car where Lois is hiding. In an instant, just before the helicopter collides with the car, Superman swoops in, quickly rescuing Lois and flying her to safety, away from the resulting explosion. A soldier inquires whether they should inform command that the target has taken a hostage. Sam growls, "No, tell them Superman saved my daughter," then get Luthor on the line. Back at LexCorp, Lex is contemplating Superman's conviction when Tess remarks from behind him. Lex inquires if she will ever appear in front of him, but Tess enjoys making him twitch and has no intention of changing that. Luthor asks her where she goes when he doesn't see her and whether she has control over it. Tess responds that she goes nowhere. She only knows her time with Lex. Unsurprised, Lex explains what he discovered about the toxin Tess used on him. He reveals that Lionel had the toxin created while searching for ways to erase Lex's memory. During the testing, a subject killed the doctor administering the drug, and subsequently began talking to himself, believing he saw the doctor in the room. Lex theorizes that his heightened brain power is a result of Tess' consciousness residing in his mind. Tess retorts that she would prefer to be in actual hell rather than be stuck in his head. Lex informs her that he has a plan to remove her. He just needs someone to test it on first. At Star Labs, Emil is providing comfort to Mrs. Henshaw, reassuring her that with Hank's waking coma, he is aware of her support. Mr. Luthor enters without clearance, but expresses an intriguing idea to assist Commander Henshaw that he would like to propose to Hank's wife. But first, he needs to purchase one of Dr. Hamilton's drones. Above Metropolis, Lois and Clark discuss missed meals, the mess below, the quiet in the sky, and that Superman needs to make nice with her dad before he calls in reinforcements. Then they take a little time for themselves. In the Smallville cornfield, Green Arrow and Chloe track the spacecraft's occupant while contemplating their move to Star City and whether Chloe genuinely wants to move. It was a big deal when she moved to Metropolis, and it's a bigger deal going to Star City. She doesn't want to leave, but feels they both need to. With their marriage and the construction of the League, they need to leave Clark behind and find their own city to clean up. Buy a house. Have super kids. Hunting spaceships has grown dull. They need to grow. Finding ominous new tracks following the first. Assuming the pursuer isn't friendly, they draw their weapons, affirm their love, and turn out their lights, while being monitored from behind. In the Star Labs bathroom, as Lex is washing up, he feels Tess pop in for a visit. They discuss the horrifying revelations that accompany being part of the Luthor legacy, until Tess raises concerns about Lex endangering Hank's life and questions Emil's decision to allow the upload of Commander Henshaw's consciousness. Upon discovering Tess knows Emil, Lex suggests they were romantically involved, provoking Tess to slap him, and Lex actually feels it. Lex then tells her that Emil didn't agree easily, and if this transfer doesn't work, she's going to be stuck with him for a long time. But if successful, it will benefit countless individuals, offering many a second chance at life, albeit a mechanical life. Plus, this will give Lex a way to get Tess out of his head and into a drone he can control. As they trade insults, Otis enters to inform Lex that the procedure is complete. Otis realizes Lex is speaking to his invisible sister again, so he offers condolences to Miss Mercer regarding her condition. As they leave the room, Lex calls him an idiot. With the transfer complete, Luthor and Terry Henshaw go in to see Commander Henshaw. Lex keeps Emil from entering, despite his protests. Post-transfer, Hank is waking up and sees his wife, but he can't feel her touching him. As Lex begins to discuss his new life, Hank's hand starts to move. When Lex welcomes him back, Hank unexpectedly seizes him by the throat and screams,
"Luthor, why? Why have you done this to me?"
Emil always wondered when he'd get to use his signal watch, and he hopes Superman can hear it. Thanks for watching. Please comment, like, and subscribe.